Please stop killing children.
I have to. I am their god.
A woman watched her husband murder babies. And when she tried to stop him, he tortured her to death. But she's in paradise, and he's burning in hell. This is her story. In the next 12 minutes, you'll discover why Pharaoh's own wife betrayed him, what she saw that made her risk everything, and the moment she decided her soul was worth more than her crown. But first, you need to know what happened in the palace that night. Subscribe to True Islam Voice. This gets intense. Egypt. 3,000 years ago, Pharaoh's palace. Asiya wakes to screaming. Not the normal kind, not servants, not animals, children. She runs to the window, soldiers everywhere, torches, blood on the streets. They're killing babies. Again, every Hebrew boy under 2 years old, drowned in the Nile, skulls crushed, mothers wailing. And Asiya knows her husband ordered this. The man she sleeps next to, the man who calls himself God, just sentenced thousands of innocent children to death because a fortune teller told him a Hebrew baby would one day destroy his kingdom. Here's what you need to understand about Asiya. She's been queen for 20 years, 20 years of luxury, 20 years of power, 20 years of watching her husband execute anyone who disagrees with him. But tonight is different. Tonight, she asks herself one question. A question so dangerous it will eventually kill her. What if he's wrong? What if this man who demands worship, who built monuments to himself, who calls the Nile his personal creation, what if he's not God at all? What if he's just a tyrant, a murderer, a liar? That question plants a seed, and seeds either die or grow. This one, it's about to destroy her entire world. Next morning, the Nile River. A servant girl screams. Asiya runs down to the water. There's a basket, floating, heading straight toward the palace steps. Inside, a baby. Hebrew baby, maybe 3 months old. Should be dead. According to her husband's law, this child should be at the bottom of the river right now. But he's alive, eyes open, looking right at her. Asiya reaches down, picks him up, and something happens that scholars still debate 3,000 years later. The baby doesn't cry. He just looks at her, like he knows something she doesn't. And Asiya, queen of the most powerful empire on earth, starts crying. Not sad tears, something else. For the first time in 20 years, she's holding something pure, something innocent, something that reminds her what it felt like before she became Pharaoh's wife, before the crown, before the palace, before she learned to ignore the screaming. She hears footsteps, heavy, slow, Pharaoh. He sees the baby, his face goes dark. Where did that come from? Asiya doesn't think, she lies. The Nile, a gift from the gods. Silence. Pharaoh stares at the baby. One word from him, and this child dies. One gesture, and a soldier will crush this skull against the palace wall. But Asiya speaks again, faster this time. Let me keep him. We have no children. He can be our son. Pharaoh's expression shifts, not soft, never soft, but calculating. A son, an heir. Maybe the gods really did send this. He nods. Fine. But if he causes problems, he's yours to deal with. Pharaoh walks away. Asiya looks down at the baby. And she has no idea that she just saved the man who will destroy her husband's entire kingdom. That baby's name? Musa, Moses, the prophet who will split the Red Sea, the man who will free the Hebrews, the one Pharaoh's fortune teller warned him about. And Asiya just became his mother. Time jump, 15 years. Musa is grown now, strong, brave, different from every Egyptian in the palace. He asks questions Egyptians don't ask. Why Do we enslave people? Who made Pharaoh God? What if there's another power higher than him? Every question cracks Asiya's faith in her husband a little more. Every conversation with Musa reminds her of that question she asked herself 15 years ago. What if he's wrong? But she's still queen, still trapped, still pretending, until one day Musa disappears. He kills an Egyptian soldier who was beating a Hebrew slave. Pharaoh finds out, sends soldiers to execute him. Musa runs into the desert, gone. Asiya doesn't see him for 10 years. 10 years later, Musa comes back. But he's different now. Older, calmer, powerful. He walks straight into Pharaoh's throne room in front of the entire court and says, "Let the Hebrew people go." Pharaoh laughs. His whole court laughs. "You're a fugitive, a murderer, and you're telling me what to do?" Musa doesn't flinch. "I'm not telling you. God is." Pharaoh's face goes cold. "I am God." Musa smiles. "Then let's prove it." Pharaoh calls his magicians, the best in Egypt, men who've spent their entire lives mastering illusions, deception, tricks that make people believe the impossible. He tells them, "Show this slave who God is." The magicians step forward. They throw their staffs on the ground, and the staffs turn into serpents, dozens of them, slithering, hissing. The crowd gasps. Even Asiya, who's seen this trick before, feels her heart race. This is why people believe Pharaoh is God, because his magicians make the impossible look real. But then Musa steps forward. He throws his staff, and what happens next isn't a trick. Musa's staff doesn't just turn into a serpent. It turns into something alive, real, massive. It opens its mouth, and it swallows every single serpent the magicians created. Every single one. Then it turns back into a staff in Musa's hand. Complete silence. No one breathes, no one moves. And then the magicians fall. Not stumble, not kneel. They collapse, face to the ground, prostrating. And they say 3 words that will echo through history. "We believe in the Lord of Musa." Asiya's heart stops. These are Pharaoh's men, his loyal servants, the ones who've been proving his divinity for decades. And they just abandoned him in front of the entire kingdom because they saw something real. Pharaoh explodes. "I made you. I own you. You dare betray me?" The magicians don't move. They just keep saying it, over and over. "We believe in the Lord of Musa." Pharaoh screams, "I'll cut off your hands and feet. I'll crucify you on palm trees." And they respond with something that shatters Asiya's last piece of doubt. "Do what you want. We've seen the truth. You can kill our bodies. You can't touch our souls." Pharaoh has them all executed, right there, in front of everyone. Asiya watches men die for something they believed for less than 5 minutes. And she realizes if they can choose death over a lie. What's her excuse? That night, Asiya waits until Pharaoh falls asleep. She sneaks to a corner of the palace, gets on her knees. And for the first time in her entire life, she prays. Not to Pharaoh, not to Ra, not to Osiris, not to any god Egypt worships. She prays to the God of Musa, the God who turned a staff into a living serpent, the God who made magicians choose death over lies. She doesn't have words. She just cries and whispers, "If you're real, show me." But someone's watching. A servant girl, loyal to Pharaoh, standing in the shadows, seeing everything. And the next morning she tells Pharaoh everything. Pharaoh wakes Asiya up, middle of the night, dragging her by the hair. "You prayed to WHO?" Asiya doesn't lie this time. She's done lying. She looks him straight in the eyes and says, I prayed to the God of Musa, the real God. Pharaoh's face twists. 20 years of marriage, 20 years of loyalty, and now this. Take it back. Say I'm God. Say it right now and I'll forgive you. Silence. She could say it. She could lie. Keep the crown. Keep the palace. Keep her life. But she's watched too many people die for the truth. She's held the truth in her heart too long. She shakes her head. I will never call you God again. There is only one God, and it's not you. Pharaoh's voice goes quiet, deadly quiet. Then you'll die like the magicians. Asiya nods. I know, but here's what Pharaoh doesn't know, what most people don't know. Asiya made a dua that night, a prayer so powerful that Allah answered it before she even died. In part 2, I'll tell you what she asked for, how Pharaoh tortured her, the miracle that happened in her final breath, and why the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ called her one of the 4 greatest women who ever lived. Comment below. Asiya chose freedom. Subscribe to True Islam Voice. Part 2 is coming. See you there.